America, once considered a beacon of faith, is experiencing a spiritual shift. A 2014 study by Pew Research Center revealed a notable decline in the number of Americans who identify as Christian. This trend, compared to data from 2007, shows a growing segment of the population turning away from organized religion. The study also indicated a corresponding rise in the number of individuals who claim no religious affiliation. This shift in the religious landscape is significant and raises questions about the future of faith in America. This trend is not limited to a single demographic. It cuts across age groups, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Young adults in particular are increasingly identifying as religiously unaffiliated. This suggests a generational shift in values and beliefs. The reasons behind this decline are complex and multifaceted. Some point to the perceived disconnect between traditional religious teachings and contemporary social issues. Others cite the rise of secularism and the growing influence of science and reason as contributing factors. Regardless of the reasons, the decline in religious affiliation has profound implications for American society. Faith has long been a cornerstone of American values and identity. It has shaped our moral compass, informed our laws, and provided a sense of community and purpose for millions. As more Americans drift away from religion, it is essential to examine the potential consequences for our collective values, social cohesion, and the overall well-being of our nation. Understanding the reasons behind this trend and its potential impact is crucial for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The decline of faith in America resonates with biblical prophecies about the end times. The Bible speaks of a great falling away from God in the last days, a time marked by increasing wickedness and a rejection of truth. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3 warns, "Let no one deceive you in any way, for that day will not come unless the rebellion comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction." This passage highlights the biblical prediction of a time when people will turn away from God and embrace deception. This falling away is not merely a decline in religious affiliation, but a deeper rejection of God's authority and moral standards. It manifests in the embrace of secular ideologies, the normalization of sin, and the persecution of those who hold fast to biblical values. The Bible also warns of false teachers who will arise, preaching a distorted gospel that appeals to the desires of the flesh rather than the truth of God. These false teachings lead people astray, drawing them further from God and His plan for their lives. The rise of secular humanism, moral relativism, and the increasing hostility towards Christianity in the public square align with these biblical warnings. While we cannot definitively say that America's current state fulfills these prophecies completely, the parallels are undeniable. The Bible's warnings should serve as a wake-up call for believers to stand firm in their faith, to be discerning of the times, and to boldly proclaim the truth of God's word in a world that is rapidly turning away from Him. It is a time for vigilance, for prayer, and for a renewed commitment to living out the gospel in every aspect of our lives. The consequences of declining faith are evident in various aspects of American society. The erosion of traditional family values, the normalization of alternative lifestyles, and the increasing acceptance of practices once considered morally objectionable are all indicative of a society drifting further from its Judeo-Christian roots. The political arena in particular reflects this shift. The rise of ideologies that stand in direct opposition to biblical principles, and the increasing hostility towards those who uphold traditional moral values are concerning trends. The push for policies that undermine the sanctity of life, redefine marriage, and erode religious liberty are all indicative of a society that has lost its moral compass. The education system also reflects this shift, with the promotion of secular ideologies and the marginalization of faith-based perspectives. The teaching of evolution as fact, the introduction of comprehensive sexuality education that normalizes alternative lifestyles, and the censorship of religious views in the classroom are all contributing to a generation growing up without a solid foundation in faith and morals. This secularization of society has far-reaching consequences. As faith declines, so too does the moral fabric that holds society together. We see this in the rising crime rates, the breakdown of the family unit, and the increasing sense of hopelessness and despair that pervades our culture. Moreover, the rejection of absolute truth and the embrace of moral relativism create a breeding ground for division, intolerance, and conflict. When there is no objective standard of right and wrong, society becomes vulnerable to manipulation and the tyranny of the majority. Despite the concerning trends, there is hope. The Bible reminds us that God's people are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Matthew 5 verses 13 to 16. Even in the darkest of times, our responsibility is to be beacons of truth, love, and hope. We are called to engage the culture, not retreat from it. This means being informed about the issues, engaging in respectful dialogue, and standing firm in our convictions, even when it is unpopular. We must also be intentional about passing on our faith to the next generation. This involves not only teaching them about God, but also modeling a life of faith, integrity, and compassion. It means creating a home environment where faith is nurtured, questions are welcomed, and biblical values are lived out daily. Furthermore, we must support churches and ministries that are actively working to reach the lost and disciple believers. These institutions play a vital role in preserving faith and offering hope in a world that desperately needs it. The decline of faith in America is a serious concern, but it is not insurmountable. By standing firm in our faith, engaging the culture with wisdom and grace, and passing on our beliefs to the next generation, we can be instruments of God's redemptive work in our nation and beyond. The challenges are real, but so is our God. Let us be faithful in prayer, courageous in our witness, and unwavering in our hope, knowing that the Lord is with us always, even to the end of the age. Matthew 28 verse 20.